something else now, something bigger. And this is all made painfully clear when Aang overhears the monks debating whether to take him away from Monk Gyatso, the only true parental figure he has. This is the true breaking point. The Fire Nation might be the distant threat, but in this moment it's the people Aang trusts, his own community, who make him feel more isolated than ever. And faced with that, he runs. Not out of selfishness, not out of cowardice, but because he's a scared kid and for the first time in his life, he feels completely alone. Meanwhile, back on the ship, Zuko's story unfolds. And just like Aang's, it's not the story of a great fall from power. It's the story of a boy being crushed by expectations he didn't choose. Through Iroh's explanation to the crew, we see a young, scarless Zuko, eager to impress, stepping into a Fire Nation war meeting. He speaks out impulsively, objecting to a plan that would sacrifice the lives of new recruits. But Zuko isn't punished because he's wrong. He's punished because he speaks out of turn, challenging the rigid hierarchy of the Fire Nation's military culture. The real emotional blow comes when Zuko is forced into an Agni Kai, and learns too late that his opponent is not the war general he interrupted, but his own father. When he begs for mercy, he's met not with understanding, but with violence. Ozai burns him without hesitation and banishes him in shame. The scar, of course, is the most visible consequence, but what lingers far deeper is the emotional wound. The internalized belief that speaking out, showing compassion, even hesitating in the face of cruelty will only ever lead to rejection and pain. Both Aang and Zuko are, in their own ways, exiled. Aang cast adrift from his people by fear and expectation, encased in ice for 100 years. Zuko banished by his father for showing a flicker of humanity in a system built to crush it. And the Storm is careful not to overstate these parallels. There's no heavy narration telling the viewer what to think. Instead, the structure, the mirrored fires, the matching sequences of shame and exile, invites the audience to draw the connections themselves. Both boys are burdened by expectations that they never asked for. Both are trapped by choices they had no real power to make. And both are now adrift, carrying the consequences of those moments on their shoulders. This dual structure doesn't just deepen our understanding of Aang and Zuko individually, it transforms the emotional stakes of the show itself. Because, think about it, before this point we didn't really know these two people that well. Sure, we knew the surface details. Aang was the fun-loving, carefree kid with a hidden burden. Zuko was the angry, brooding villain chasing him across the world. But that was about it. Their real histories, the weight that they were carrying, the reasons they behaved the way they did, had been left mostly unspoken. The Storm changes all of that. The episode ends with Aang risking his life to save the fisherman who cursed him, and Zuko risking his life to save the crew who doubted him. Two acts of compassion, two moments of redemption, or at least the beginning of one. And then, in the middle of the chaos, it happens. As Aang and Appa fly through the storm, carrying everyone to safety, Zuko looks up from the deck of his ship and sees him.